So you want to leave an Amazon review for one of your favorite authors to say how much you enjoy their book, but maybe you're wondering, what do I even say? What makes a good review? What's going to be most helpful for them? This quick video is going to give you some tips for writing a review on Amazon or any other platform. Specifically, we're talking about book reviews here today, but of course, these tips can be used for pretty much anything. So when it comes to writing a review on Amazon, one of the most important things is to have it be a verified purchase review. Those are going to be boosted in the algorithm. And so if you bought on Amazon and can review there, that is going to be really helpful for any of the authors that you are trying to support. Every other review, of course, is helpful as well, but those verified reviews get ranked better. And even just leaving 5 stars for an author you love is helpful too. Any little bit helps. So when you're writing that text for a review, going that step beyond the 5-star review that is still very helpful, you want to include the book title and the name of the author. Sometimes these get pulled out of context, right? I like to take a screenshot and say, look at these great things that someone said. So when it says Melina Palmer, author of What Your Customer Wants and Can't Tell You, or What Your Employees Need and Can't Tell You, it's nice to be able to grab and show that, to be able to share. That's really helpful in supporting the author that you're working for or that you're trying to support here. So that is something that's a simple thing that can make your review stand out for them. When you're doing a review for my book launch team, let's say, or if you do know any author personally or doing some work, you don't want to say that you know them, even if you do. You don't want to say, if you were part of their launch team or you were able to be an early reader, Amazon will block those sorts of reviews. Even if they're completely valid and really great things, they just have a tendency to either hold them for a long time or not post them at all. So while you may want to say, I know Melina personally and X, or I was a guest on the podcast and this, or I love listening to Melina's podcast. That's okay, right? Like, I love the podcast and now the book is amazing as well, is a really good thing to be able to say. But to say, I know Melina and she sent me this book to be able to read early, that's something that can make it so that it doesn't end up being a review that ever gets to see the light of day. So while that may be true, just hold it back and don't include it in the review that you're going to send. So what you want to be able to answer for people is, what does the book promise to do for the reader, and does it deliver on it? And if so, how? So when you look at the book, there's a description, let's say, and for everyone that's in the book launch team, I have a list of why we what the goals were for the book. I have one-sheet overviews and things. If you go scan through the description on Amazon, it'll say what the book is about in the description and kind of what the author is trying to accomplish there. So being able to look at that and say, did it do what I expected it to do? And if so, how? What you can do here is imagine that you were someone trying to decide if you want to read this book, if you want to pick it up. Read the Amazon review or the description that's there and say, what might I think this book is going to give to me? Or read the back cover or something. Go through and read it and then say, did it do that? And if you can say, like, I expected the book to do this and it delivered even better than that, something like that is really valuable. But you want to help the reader answer those questions that might be in their mind of wondering, is this worth spending money on? Is this something that's going to really help me and investing my time in? You can also explain who the book is for. So this could be from your own experience. So if you say, I am a brand strategist, I am the head of an agency, I am a CEO, I am whatever, and this book is perfect for people like me. Or if you're an entrepreneur or small business owner, you have to read this book. Helping someone to be able to identify and see themselves in the review is really helpful. In the case of What Your Employees Need and Can't Tell You, we're looking at managers and people that lead other people through change and want to be able to provide more influence in the places where they're working. So, how is someone going to be changed after they read the book? And why is it worth their money? Why should they spend money? And more importantly than that, why should they invest their time in this book versus something else? What are they going to get on the other side? How are they going to be different? How are you different? Being able to share that, and it could be a little point or a tidbit to say, this point made a big difference. The micro shift moments allowed me to do X, and then this happened. You don't have to get all this detail in there, and you don't have to do everything in every review. These are some ideas of things that you can be including in any review you're going to be writing, and ways to really think about it in a different way that's going to be valuable. So don't have to write, a tome of being able to write everything in the whole world, but being able to think about those value points is really helpful when writing those reviews. Also, why is this author uniquely qualified to write this book? Why can I speak about behavioral economics? Why am I able to talk about change? What is it about me and my background that makes it so this is real useful stuff for someone and not just opinion or thought, right? So being able to say, in this case, like I said, you can mention that you've listened to the podcast, or that you've taken my classes at A&M, or that you know something about my background, and that translates really well here. Just don't necessarily say that you know me personally. So now we're going to say, what's the tone? Is it funny? Is it academic? Is it dramatic? What is it about the book that was something that they can expect when they're reading? I'm not going to tell you that I think my book is funny. I think it's a little funny. But you want to, in my case, I think that a lot of books about behavioral science can be a little bit weighty. And for people coming into the field trying to decide maybe if this is their first book, you may be concerned that it's going to feel really boring. So being able to say it's dynamic, or that it was interesting or riveting, you really can't overdo your adjectives here. So any of those words you want to be able to provide, really helpful when you're doing those reviews. Of course, what was your overall impression of the book? What made you love it or not love it so much? What was if you sit back and say, what did I learn from all this? What did I get from it? What's that overall impression? Being able to share that is really helpful for people as well. And just a few last possible points to be keeping in mind. You want to ask, was this book written in a way you could easily relate to and that you think others could as well? What was your favorite part? Were there images or, as I said, in What Your Employees Need and Can't Tell You, micro shift moments that were particularly helpful, or apply it sections in What Your Customer Wants and Can't Tell You? Would you recommend it? That's an easy thing, right? So be able to say, I absolutely recommend this book. Everyone who manages people should read this book. Do you recommend it? Write that out. It seems implied, but you'd be surprised. We know that from all our learning on social proof and things, right? And then what type of reader would enjoy reading this book? What is it about you that makes you like it? Who else do you think would get value out of it? Really just stop and think, if you were deciding if this was the book for you, how would you be able to know that you feel confident that someone like you, again, hurting in social proof, enjoyed this book, and that you probably would as well? That is what makes a really great Amazon review. And at the end of the day, just doing anything is going to be helpful, and your author, whomever it is, myself included, will absolutely appreciate it. So very least, leaving those 5-star ratings, amazing, so helpful, especially early on in a book launch. And then if you have the time and can create those reviews, those help to boost books in the algorithm. 25 has been kind of a barrier you need to cross first, and then 100 and other things to show up more powerfully. So thank you for taking the time to think about leaving reviews and ratings for your favorite authors on Amazon and anywhere else. And that's the one last great tip. You can pretty well copy what you wrote on Amazon and then go put it somewhere else, Goodreads or wherever else. You can post about it on your LinkedIn profile and say why you enjoyed the book and what was valuable for you. You can reuse that content in other places without having to redo it again and again and again. And I'm pretty sure whatever author you're supporting is really going to love and appreciate that. So thanks so much. Happy reading, happy reviewing. And as always, remember to be thoughtful.